What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another SLA video. So we got ourselves the tier list for artifacts. That's right. This is something I've been owing you guys for quite some time. Just haven't had a chance to do it, but now I'm back at getting these done. And we're going to talk about the best possible top tier sets for each unit, including SJW, some great sets that are good backups, and then situational content sets that you could use here and there. Here, I'm going to actually even change this up. So what we're going to do, guys, is I'm going to this time around avoid all SRs. I think SRs at this point, most of the people are not using them. So we're going to focus strictly on doing just the SSR units and what sets are going to work best with them. So let's start off with our boy SJW. So Sun Jin-woo, the main hero of the actual game, has a few really good sets, and if you haven't checked it out already, you can go check out my last video that I put out right over here. You guys can see we actually talk about outstanding ability versus expert, which one is better, and also just throw in a free to play guide boss for you. So this right here, or guild boss for you, I should say, this right here is going to be the two best sets, and we're going to talk a little bit about both of these and why they work so well. So the first top tier set for him, because most of the content we're going to be fighting is going to be long-term fights, you're going to want to go Curse and Expert. Those are going to be the top tier sets for SJW. Now, if you are looking for another great set for slower or shorter content, then you're going to want to go Curse and Outstanding Ability. Okay, so those are the two best sets for him. So either way, you're looking at Curse over here, and you're looking at Expert or Outstanding Ability. Situational content, there are going to be times where you could use Curse with Concentration of Firepower, which lets you do more damage with your skills, or Curse with the following champion on the field if it's a shorter fight. There's going to be situations where Armed will work really well as well too if you are doing like Battlefield of Time or anything with a lot of defense penetration requirements. And there's going to be actually times where you're going to want to use something like the Guardian set for shield extra damage boost to that. So those are going to be his best sets, but overall we're looking at Curse right over here, and we're looking at Curse over here, and then Curse with these sets there. Okay, so that is going to be the best SJW set. Now we're going to go with each hunter at a time, and I'm going to give you guys timestamps so you can look at which one you want to look at, and hopefully this helps you guys gear up your units the best possible way. Alright guys, moving on to Kanae, the most recent hunter and the best DPS currently in the game. Now she's got a few really good sets, and I'm going to show 2 and 2 pieces for her. The best set currently going on for her, especially with A5, is going to want to do 2-piece Curse, and you want to do 2-piece 1-hit kill. That's going to be the left side, and then the right side, you're going to want either Expert, right? So Expert set over here, or Champion on the field, depending if it's a shorter fight, or believe it or not, this one does work fairly well for her as well, and that is going to be Outstanding Ability depending on your MP reduction. So those are going to be the best possible sets for her. Now, if you can't get a good one-hit kill piece, you want to do Curse over here, an Expert. That works really well as well. That's a great set, but not quite as good as what you saw earlier. And then for situational sets, ideally, if you need some defense penetration, you can for sure give her the Arm set with Expert or Champion on the field, or Outstanding Ability. Outstanding Ability won't work quite as well for situational ones because they're either going to be really fast ones, so Champion on the field works a bit better. Or I guess, I mean, if you do have enough mana consumption, you can use that as well. Don't forget, you can also use the Berserker set, or the Executioner set, I should say, sorry, which allows you to hit them all. I think this is Executioner or Berserker. I forget which one this one was called. It's been a while since I've used it, but you can, in fact, kill monsters fast enough with that. So those are going to be the best sets, but when it comes down to the overall best set for her, you are looking at the following setups right over here, and then with some situationals. And if you can't get the one-hit kill again, this is your best bet right there. All right, guys, that is Kanae right there. Now we're going to be moving on to Esil. Moving on to Esil, as mentioned, she is a very diverse character, but at the end of the day, she is a breaker. So the best possible set for her, in my opinion, is going to be the full 8-piece greed. If you are looking to do the best break damage, and in terms of giving her the most amount of buffs, 8-piece greed goes the longest way for her. So that is probably what I would suggest. Now, a secondary set, that's a fairly great set, I could say, is great. It's going to be the greed set with Curse is a possibility as well. Or if you want to throw in a little bit of extra damage here and there, you could throw in Champion on the field. Now, I don't recommend Expert for a reason, because she's not on the field for very long. So that is something that I would recommend removing. But I think the best set possible for her in terms of great sets would be the 2 mix up here if you are looking for a little bit of extra boost in damage. But I would ideally stick with the 8-piece greed. Now, some situational sets could also be the fact that you could give her an Arm set for a little bit more defense penetration. You could give her Sylph set to give you a little bit more elemental damage, or you can give yourself the toughness set for if you want more crit out of her. Just keep in mind though, you want to give not her your highest DPS, the most amount of crit possible, so she can constantly keep giving that unit attack up. But these are probably the best sets I would recommend for her. But ideally, at the end of the day, the best top set is going to be AP's Greed. She's pretty versatile, but at the end of the day, you do want her for one thing and one thing only. That is stacks of Prey of the Week and breaking abilities. All right, so that is Esil in a nutshell. Moving on to Sakari. That's right, I said Sakari, not Akari. Next up, we have the biggest letdown, I would say, of a character release ever. When it comes down to Akari, we all expected quite a bit from her to boost Thomas, Gunhee, and the rest of the light team, but we got something very mediocre. But nonetheless, at A5, she does have a lot of good performances for certain content, but not quite as much as we want. But let's talk about her sets. The current best set, I'd say, for her is going to be Guardian and Sylph, because she is, at the end of the day, a buffer, and because she does give shield, and she is all about the light team and buffing the light team, this two set, I'd say, is probably her best set. Now, you have also the ability, if you want to boost her damage a little bit, you can give her the curse set as well, too. As a great set here. I don't recommend personally going too deep with that, but she is an HP spec, so that's another good option. So you guys can go curse, and you can go something like, I don't know, like, because she's HP spec, you can do outstanding ability or stick with Sylph, so that's not a bad option. Another top tier set for her would also be Angel in White with Sylph, so that's another really good option if you're looking to boost, or if you are looking for additional attack power for SJW or anybody that has attack like Cha, you could also throw in the Holy Set. Now, the reason why the Holy Set sits in great sets is because Thomas and Gunhee are usually the prime, but if you are going to be using Cha, who's still a really, really good unit, you can most likely set up the Holy Set instead, or even boost SJW's power quite a bit. Now, situational sets also do exist. You can use the Destroyer set to boost the actual ultimates that she does as often as possible, because that's really where her best buff comes from, or the one-hit kill set as well too, and the Aquamarine set as well, if you don't have something like the Sylph set, or you can, at the end of the day, use a complete Blessing set up here and just avoid these two completely. Blessing set, all 8 pieces, is probably still considered top tier for her, but at the end of the day, guys, I still think the best set for her is going to be the following: Guardian set, or Angel in White with Sylph, or AP's Blessing. All right, so there you guys go. Those are the setups for her. At the end of the day, again, she's a mediocre buffer for everybody else, but she's great for the light team if you can get her to A5. All right, guys, moving over to, speaking of, Thomas Andre. All right, next up we have Thomas Andre, the only national level hunter in the game currently that exists with us on our roster, and he came in with a bang, unfortunately being kind of replaced by Kanae now for some content, but still is one of the best units in the game. So if you're looking for the best results for Thomas Andre, because he is defense spec, there's a couple good ways to go about this. The first best set for him is going to obviously be the top tier set for Curse, as well as outstanding ability. I don't think there's anything currently in the game that matches up to these two for him in regards to total damage. So defense spec with this, with crit damage and crit and damage increase, you are looking at a powerhouse, including probably beating almost all content except the most recent ones, unless you're a whale. Okay, so there you guys go. Thomas Andre's best set is this one right now. Great sets for him. You can go with Warmonger as well. It's not a bad option, and you can go with the Berserker set. That's another great option for him. Or you can go with Guardian set as well too, with the Berserker set or outstanding abilities in there. So these two would be great sets for him, not the best sets. And then situational sets for him would be Armed, for example, doing this existing WOBL to get as much defense penetration out of it. And then, of course, adding in outstanding abilities. There's nothing currently that exists that's better than outstanding abilities for him, so I would continue using that. Some of you may consider using situationally the Dragon Core, the core set, which essentially increases your core damage, but I would say this is not quite as good, and some even consider doing one-hit kill for him because of his ultimate damage, the fact that it's always up. Again, very situational, but I wouldn't consider it as one of his top tier ones, or as a matter of fact, I wouldn't even consider it situational. To be honest, these sets do more than enough to cover Thomas Andre. All right, guys, there you guys go. That is the national level hunter out of the way. Next up, we have Isla. All right, folks, if you're still kicking around here watching the video still to this point, first of all, I want to say thank you. We're going through the list very thoroughly and very quickly, as a matter of fact, as fast as I possibly can. But while I'm doing that, I do want to remind you guys to please go click that support button on the support program. Remember, this link is in every single description of every single video to get yourself 8 codes right now, 8 active, really, really good codes, and more to come. Remember, this is a content creator program. We send it to you manually. So if you have not done so, guys, go support. We are number 2. We've always been number 2 and number 1 whenever we possibly can, and I'm always sending the most amount of codes to every single person I possibly can on an almost everyday basis at this point. So remember, guys, go support your boy. Now back to the video. We said Isla would be next, so Isla is up. Now for her, pretty straightforward. You can do a couple different things. Blessing set is probably going to be a top tier set for her for quite some time. We could do Guardian. You can do Sylph as well too. If you are looking for Angel and White and you want to boost the rest of the team, Angel and White is not a bad option for Sylph as well too with her. And then also if you are looking for a little bit more in regards to just like support purposes, I say stick with Blessing, but some people may choose Aquamarine as well, okay? But at the end of the day, this is it. This is going to be the best sets for her. The realistically great sets, again, you can stick with Angel and White, and then you can do Sylph. I'd say maybe this is the best set for her in regards to some situational content, but this for sure, the Blessing set is probably her number 1 set at the moment in regards to overall usage and overall support. But again, these ones here work really, really well as well. There's really not much else you can do with her. Outside of that, she's the best support in the game still, in my opinion, and should definitely be considered on your roster no matter what you do, whether it's POD, whether it's GB, or just regular content. All right, guys, moving on to the next unit, and that's going to be her disciples, Charlotte and Harper. All right, folks, next up we have Charlotte on the list, the Dark DPS, one of the 2 girls who are actually students of Isla, and it's pretty straightforward for her. We're going to go Blessing, or sorry, not Blessing, we're going to go Curse and Outstanding Abilities. That is by far her best set, and the one you should probably be using over anything else. Again, situationally, you can use the arm set for defense penetration, for example, for the newest content, but you never would because you wouldn't be using her in this new content, but it is available for you. But again, I'm going to remove that here, and I don't think you should do it. Another great set for her as a good option is going to be Warmonger, and it's going to be the Outstanding Ability. So I want to just go ahead and stop there. Realistically, you don't need to use anything else for her. Those are going to be the best sets. There really isn't anything else that's worthwhile putting on. And then let's just put Harper into the situation. I'll take Charlotte out for a second, just so we can do both of them at the same time. Now for Harper, it's very, very straightforward, guys. The best set for her is going to be the Break set, and that is going to be the Greed set, full 8-piece Greed. Really, at the end of the day, nothing else is worthwhile. Even if you're the Guardian, because she has a shield for a couple seconds when she's doing her mincemeat move, it's not worth having. But for Charlotte, the best set in my opinion is in fact going to be Greed set, and I don't think there's really anything else that you should be using outside of that one for there. So there's Charlotte and Harper in one quick little hit, and then next up we have Gina, Gunhee, and we're gonna go through the rest of them. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Next up on the list is Gina, person with the best costume in the game still by far. Well, close enough to Yoo Soo Hyun's as well, her succubus one, but we have ourselves the best fire support unit in the game, and we're going to talk a little bit about what she's all about. Now, you can go Blessing, of course. Full AP's Blessing always works really, really well for her. Guardian set with the Sylph set is another amazing top tier set for her as well. If you are looking to boost overall damage, the Guardian set's great because she does provide a shield, and Sylph, of course, will buff your fire elemental units. So very, very good option there. Now, some people will sometimes use Angel and White with the Sylph set, so that's another pretty decent option as well. And other people will also go ahead and use one-hit kill or destroyer set. That's very situational, in my opinion, with something like Aquamarine if you don't have a good Blessing set. And also sometimes some folks will use the concentration of firepower just to boost some of her damage, but I don't recommend that personally. So this is probably the best setup for her. I would say this right here works the best. This is second option here, and then situationally people could use this and this if they wanted to. All right, so there's Gina in a nutshell, aka Gina. I'm going over to the old man on the oldest guy on the roster, as a matter of fact. Kind of feels like myself as a content creator, Gunhee. All right, ladies and gents, next up on the list is Gunhee. That's right, everyone's daddy. And if he isn't your daddy, you probably want him to be your daddy because he's the nicest old man who can whoop ass and take names. So best set for this man is going to most likely be what a lot of you guys are using. That is the 8-piece Greed. Now, a pretty decent option if you want to boost his DPS a slight bit is going to be Greed with Curse, so 4-piece and 4-piece, which isn't bad. Or you can do Curse with a little bit of Outstanding Ability because his MP consumption is really, really good, and he can continue using it quite a bit. But those are probably his best sets. Now, some people do like to situationally use the Guardian set with Outstanding Ability. I'm personally not a fan of it. He's at the end of the day a breaker for me, so I think this right here works the best for him. Really no need to look at Warmonger. I mean, you can. It is a decent, I mean, it is a great set, I would say. You can pair it with Greed or with Curse. It's your call what you want to do. But at the end of the day, I think the 8-piece greed set is the go-to set for him, and I think there's a reason why. Everybody knows he's an amazing breaker, and he's one of the best, if not the best DPS breaker on the roster, plus the best survival tank in the game, period. Next up on the list, guys, we have Hands in My Pants, aka Hansi Mei, aka Hansi Mi, aka I can't pronounce Korean names. We are going to talk about her top tier sets. So first off, 8-piece blessing, pretty straightforward for most support. 8-piece blessing will do the trick, but she's got a lot more up her sleeve. That's right. So she can provide a shield. So Guardian set works really, really well for her. The Guardian and Sylph set works really well for her, and most people will probably run that. Now, because she does support Mirei, another great set for her is going to be the Holy set with the Sylph set, or the Angel in White with the Sylph set. Those are probably going to be her top tier ones for going forward. Now, some people will use her for her AoE damage. Believe it or not, in BOT, she can actually pull off quite a bit of that. So some people use Destroyer with concentration of firepower. I've seen it, or Aquamarine if they don't have a good blessing set. But at the end of the day, this is going to be the best setup for this unit by far when it comes down to it. 8-piece blessing, Guardian, and Sylph, and then with support from Mirei or other units on BOT. Or not BOT, sorry, for Guild Boss and POD, some folks will use the Angel set and the Holy set with the Sylph sitting there. So those are going to be her best options when it comes down to the best win support in the game. All right, next up we have ourselves Yoo Soo Hyun. Yoo Soo Hyun, A-rank model turned national level hunter and solo leveling rise. Unreal amounts of damage, and what a potential boost with Esil's release. Now with her, it's pretty straightforward in regards to what you want to use, and that's going to be 4-piece curse. And you have a couple different options here now. You can go 4-piece curse with 4-piece outstanding ability. You can go 4-piece armed with outstanding ability. Or some people even decide to use, because it's really easy to get it up, 4-piece curse or armed with champion on the field. Now, expert, you might imagine, is pretty good. It is. It's not the best though for her, because you want to do, if you are looking for a great set, expert does do well, but she's all about defense penetration and not as much crit and crit damage. So ideally, this is a really, really good option here. These are probably the best options. Now, situationally, she has the ability to do other things as well too. For example, you can go cursed with the concentration of firepower for BOT, or you can go cursed with Berserker or Executioner options, but I don't recommend them. If you're going to use anything in BOT, just use the ones that you see up here as your best options. And then remember, a great set for her is going to be this, or with this. But at the end of the day, her best sets are going to, in fact, be the following. All right, so there you guys go. Yoo Soo Hyun destroys and melts everything currently in the game, and is by far one of the best DPSs, right next to Kanae, and should not be trifled with. She is a model with ambition, baby. Next on the list, guys, we have Mirei. That's right, Mirei is Kanae's disciple. Yeah, we got a lot of disciples in this game. Underage katana user, was the top DPS in the game, is now a little bit, outdone by some of the newer units, but not to be trifled with, still one of the top DPSs in the game, and will still kick any win's ass. So let's talk a little bit about the best sets for her and what makes her shine. So at the end of the day, the best set for Mirei is going to be the following. It's going to be the Curse set with Expert. Yep, you really aren't going to get better than that for her. That is going to be it right there. Some people will use Curse set with Champion on the field if you're looking to build up faster attack power. But at the end of the day, guys, that is pretty much it. I mean, there's some options to use Armed if you're looking for a little bit of defense penetration. There's some options, of course, to use something like Toughness if you need for situational ones, but at the end of the day, you're really not going to get better than this set right here, and that's pretty straightforward. She just does whoop ass really well with this, and you don't want to look too far from these current sets. So Mirei completed. Moving on to Meilin. All right, folks, moving right along here. Next up, we have Meilin, who is still considered the top 3 best supports in the game currently for any single element, and there's good reason for it. Now, in terms of Meilin's best sets, Blessing, of course, will always be top tier for any support because of everything that it offers from a buff perspective, but there's a couple other really good options here as well too. Angel in White with Sylph works exceptionally well, especially for bosses like the Guild Boss or POD. Another really good option for her as well too is going to be the Holy set with Sylph. Those are probably going to be her best sets. Now, a lot of people do use one-hit kill situationally because her ultimate gives such an incredible buff array, and some people will also use the Aquamarine set if they don't have a good Blessing set. But at the end of the day, I think when it comes down to Meilin, the Blessing set works the best, and then these ones here are all very good situational sets or great sets if you are looking to boost the damage for certain units, but don't stray too far from the 8-piece Blessing unless you are looking for damage Guild Boss or things like POD, then you can look at some of the greater sets here and see if they work better for you. So there you guys have it. That is probably the best set. Situation, actually, she can also use Destroyer Set as well if you are looking to boost the ultimate power, or ultimate power gauge, I should say, for your units. All right, guys, that takes care of Meilin. Moving on to her counterpart, Alicia. The fall of the great Alicia. I'll be right back with her. You guys know the phrase, oh, how the mighty have fallen. Well, that actually is the epitome of what happened with Alicia. What was the queen of DPS when the game first came out, close to global launch, or a little bit after global launch, I should say. She has now become a bencher for water content and just water in general, because really there's nothing going on water related. But nonetheless, some people still want to use her and still want to take advantage of some of her skills, like freezes, her crit rate increase with her shields, etc. So the best set for her is going to actually be top tier sets. Is going to be Curse with Expert to build up as much Expert as you possibly can. Champion on the field works really well for her as well too. And also once in a while, if you want to take advantage of the core damage she does, the core dragon set here works. I think it's called Solid Foundation. That's the set name, pretty sure. But those are the ones that are going to work best for her. Situationally, sometimes she can get away with Arm Set. She can get away with Warmonger to boost attack a little bit with Expert or Champion on the field. And some people will use Outstanding Ability if they have enough mana reduction on there. But that is probably it for Alicia. Unfortunately, when it comes down to it, she just kind of lost her luster. And hopefully we can see her back on top once more again when it comes down to water content. But we'll see. We're getting a lot of brand new units. I think Alicia's permanently power crept at this point, but I could be wrong, and I hope I am. All right, guys, that takes care of Alicia. Moving on to the Queen of Light Damage, Cha. Sloppy seconds, SJW's wife and mother to his child, Cha Hae-in. Let's talk a little bit about what she brings to the table and what sets work best for her. So first off, Curse set with Expert set and Champion on the field. Those are going to be her best sets. Again, another fairly good set for her is actually going to be One Hit Kill and also Arm Set with Expert and Champion. Those ones work really well. Now, the reason why you don't really use Outstanding Ability for her, she eats MP up so quickly. And Situational set for content, you're going to put Toughness set with Concentration of Firepower for BOTs. That's right. If you're looking for BOTs and quick kills, Cha does really good with that extra crit damage and crit rate with the Outstanding Ability, or sorry, Concentration of Firepower for BOT. So that takes care of her sets, but those are probably going to be her best sets overall. So please, if you plan to use her, set it up this way. All right, next up, we have our first furry on the list. That's right, SilverMane Baek and what he's all about. So a couple different options to go with him. You can go with the Curse set over here for him with Expert or Champion on the field again, depending on how quick the battles are and how long they plan to last. Another great option for him, actually, believe it or not, is going to be the Arm set. He does have quite a bit of damage. The more attack you build on him, the more HP you build on him, right? Because HP obviously does scale for his other skill, but the defense penetration on this is actually really nice. And some people will use Guardian set because he gets a massive shield right from the get-go, and he can do quite a bit of damage from that start. Now, another good option is going to be the Solid Foundation set for his core damage. He does quite a bit of core damage, and that's a great one to have. And some people will use this for BOT. And then at the end of the day, Executioners is probably the best option, or is this Berserker? I can never remember. The Skeleton set, essentially, where the more HP he loses, the more damage he does. This is a fantastic option, especially for those who can't use Outstanding Ability because he eats up MP so quickly. These are probably going to be his best options. I'd even say this is probably his best option here, and these are some of the great sets he can add on top of that, but nothing here beats the 4-piece Curse, 4-piece Executioner, especially at A5 when he gets that massive shield to help him boost that damage that he does overall. All right, guys, so there you guys go. Couple decent options for him, and then of course you guys can add this one here, or this one here. Ideally, this will probably not work that well, but these two will work extremely well for him, including this right there. All right, so there's SM Baek for you. Moving on to regular Baek. All right, guys, we're going to put a couple of these breakers together because at the end of the day, they realistically use the exact same setup for the most part. So we're going to put Baek, Woo, Sa, and Emma all together in one sitting, and we'll show you guys the best set. So the best set for all of them is going to be the Greed set for breaks, of course. You get the buffs, the breaks, the elemental extra bonuses there. So this is going to be their best set for sure. Now, some people who situationally will use the Solid Analysis set with anything else that they want to use here. So some people will use, for example, Solid Analysis with the Berserker set, which obviously is based off the HP of the opponent. But at the end of the day, this is going to be your backup breaker set. So this is the other option here. Now, most of these units here are going to be fully using this. I don't see them really going past this. Some will use, like for example, Emma or Sa will use Guardian set to help them boost the damage up quite a bit. And if they're going to use 4 and 4 here, that's another good option for them. But at the end of the day, really, they're all meant for breaking. So you do want to throw that in there. Another decent option here is if you want to boost their damage a slight bit, you could also use this. And situationally, some of them for things like BOT will use Arm Set with one of their breaking sets. Sorry, it'll be armed and concentration of firepower, or armed with the Berserker set, or armed with where is it, the Aquamarine, if you're looking to do some sort of buffing. But at the end of the day, this is probably their best setup. AP's Greed will always be their best setup when it comes down to overall usage, with Guardian being a decent backup and Curse being a decent backup for more DPS, Guardian more support, and the rest of these here very, very situational, especially if you don't have a good full piece AP's Greed set. All right, guys, there's all 4 of those hunters right there. That takes care of the breakers. Now we have a couple extra DPS to do and a couple extra supports. I'll be right back. Okay, next up we have the guild leader, Choi. No Choi crit, no crit Choi, whichever way you want to call him. And is actually making a little bit of a comeback, a small tiny bit comeback with the fire team's buffers now and Esil being out. We have very limited options for Choi because he can't crit. Curse, pretty straightforward. Outstanding ability, pretty straightforward. This is his best DPS set. Now, some in situations will use Blessing set for him. For example, for Guild Boss, if you're looking to just strictly use him for that purpose, he's actually not bad with the Blessing set to power you up a little bit. And then some people will use Warmonger as well too, just to get the extra attack bonus from there, with Armed as well as another option. But nothing beats outstanding abilities for him. And some folks will use Concentration of Firepower with one of these sets here to just get the full effect of him when it comes down to BOT. But don't stray too far from the Cursed Outstanding Abilities. That is going to be your best set for him by far. Everything else here seems pretty bad, except for maybe one hit kill situation. He can be used to just do his A5, or sorry, his ultimate as much as you possibly can. But again, not a very commonly used one. These are going to be his best options. All right, guys, moving on now to Dongpo, which I actually want to skip, but I can't because he's a unit. Hopefully they buff this guy one day. All right, folks, the biggest meme in the game right now, Dongso. So pretty straightforward here with him. You really don't stray too far from Curse set with Outstanding Ability. That is literally going to be the best set you're going to use for him. Some people will use Warmonger because he is defense spec with the Outstanding Ability. Again, you don't stray too far from this. And then a couple other options for him, of course, too, because he is using a lot of core damage. I believe situationally you can use this set. Armed again if you want to use that as well too, and Toughness for BOT. So some of these sets are BOT sets, but again, Outstanding Ability is going to be the best setup for him with the Curse set. Really not much to talk about. Until they buff him, he's pretty much a meme. We'll continue being a meme, and we're going to continue calling him Dongpo. All right, guys, we got 3 more units to go. Let's get it done. All right, guys, next up, Bora. So let's make this one quick. Toughness set, actually really good for her because she scales so highly off of crit and attack. Curse set, of course. And now you want to put Expert, Champion on the field is probably going to be her best sets there. So that's probably what you want to use. Some people will situation give her Blessing if they are using her more of a support for the Dark team. But ideally, you don't want to do that too often. But this is probably going to be the best set. When it comes down to great sets, you could use Armed if you want to with the mixed bag of Champion and Expert. But at the end of the day, you really don't want to stray too far from these sets here just to boost the amount of damage she does overall. And I think you really don't need to go further than this, guys. This is probably what you're looking for when it comes down to her. You could use Warmonger. Don't recommend it. Stick with Armed on that one. I think overall just boosts her damage more than anything else. All right, guys, 2 more left. We got Min and Lim. 3-letter names. We'll be right back. Okay, going back to the original Pimp. That's right, PIMP Min is here, and this is what you want to use. AP's Blessing, of course, is still going to be one of his top tier sets. Amazing to use pretty much for everything. Another really good set for him is going to actually be the Angel in White set with Sylph, if you are going to use that as well, or the Holy set with Sylph, again, depending on who you're supporting, whether it's SJW, Cha, or other support units in the game, because he is one of the universal supports that provide everybody something to use. All right, now Destroyer set, also a great set for him if you're looking to boost overall usage when it comes down to building power gauge, because he already does it really well. And then another good option for him here is going to actually be this set down in the situational set with the Aquamarine set. But at the end of the day, guys, you ideally want to go with the following. AP's curse, AP's blessing, or Angel in White, or Holy Set with the Sylph set. And don't stray too far from these ones over here. They're going to do you pretty much justice in every piece of content. All right, guys, last unit to go, and that is Lim. All right, guys, last but not least, Lim, Robin Hood Men in Tights. One of the coolest characters who had no time at all in the show, and honestly was one of the best unique characters in the game when he first came out. Just sitting there to dry now. Really, nobody uses him, but we are going to talk about his sets anyways. So, a couple things to note. He is a breaker, so AP's Greed, of course, is going to work really well. You could also use Curse Set with... Where's my Curse Set? Where is it? There it is, right there. Curse Set with Expert, or with... Champion on the Field. There it is. So these are probably going to be his best sets. Now, he's a breaker and a DPS. He's kind of like Esil, right? So at the end of the day, AP's Greed is going to work best for him. I'm going to put these ones as great sets. Another one that you can use as well, too, if you wanted to, is going to be the Arm set. And situationally, some people, if they don't have the Greed set, are going to use the Solid Analysis set with the Champion on the Field, or outstanding ability options for him. But those are really, really, honestly, his best sets. Some people will use One Hit Kill because of his ultimate, but realistically, it's not used that often. And overall, quite honestly, not much is used with this unit at all, period, because nobody really does use him. At the end of the day, he is designed really, really well. I love his kit, but he's just overpowered and overbuffed with everybody else. So unfortunately, Lim does get decent sets, but overall, the character is not that great. Okay, guys, that is it. 30 whole minutes of this. Holy jumping. Hope you guys like, subscribe, hit that notification button if you stayed at the end till the end. I appreciate you, love you. See you guys in the next video. Take care.